Hello, everyone. Welcome to Transform Now. I'm Brad Hairston.
And I'm Michael Marchuk.
And this is our weekly pulse check, checking in on automation and AI news items of interest, at least to us. Hopefully you find them interesting. There's a lot out there. The news is constantly shocking us with new developments in this area. So Michael and I have picked out a few to talk about. So Michael, let's dive right in. The first news item comes from Windows Central. Yes, that's actually a publication for people like you that love Windows. And the article reads, Elon Musk jokingly says AI could potentially win the U.S. presidential election in 2032. Now, Elon was at this ceremony. It's the 10th annual Breakthrough Prize ceremony. It's called the Oscars of Science. And I'm sure he was holding court with a bunch of reporters and trying to say whatever would keep them engaged. So who knows if he was all that serious? Although I got to believe Elon probably was thinking that this could happen, that an AI model, if it pretty much talking to its followers and what have you through social media or other forms, could probably convince a lot of people to follow it. Now, get those same people to vote for it. I'm not sure about that, but anyway, it's an interesting thought. What do you think?
I think there's a little truth in there, but I think he's also trying to be a little antagonistic with the way he answered it, which is characteristic of Elon Musk. But I mean, if you look at the rise of these AI influencers, they're basically accounts that were generated by an organization, a company. They created a persona. Most of them are female personas for people to follow. And these people are putting out information on their Instagram accounts and everything else to promote specific lifestyles / products. It started that way. If you start taking even the current state of technology, let alone 2032, which is like, I mean, who knows what's going to happen by 2032, but you have a capability now to create videos, to create very realistic audio that goes along with that. So you could potentially have, a talking head, kind of, I'm thinking like Max Headroom back in the day, where you have a specific entity, in this case, AI, that would be able to generate content and relay that content very effectively to an audience. Now, when you talk about, would that AI be a candidate in an election? You have all kinds of other issues in terms of how does that AI campaign? How does it get people to trust it? Who's actually pulling the strings behind it? Because with people, there's relational aspects to this stuff, but with AI, the behind the scenes stuff is still kind of magic, and understanding how that would work. So I mean, I'm actually answering this question as if it's possible that someone would vote for an AI, but in reality, the AI components are going to be realistic enough for people to be able to interact with them, especially in 2032. So I don't know. It's an interesting question.
Yep. This article also quotes Elon as saying that he thinks there's a 99.9% chance of technology ending humanity, which I find funny. I've heard him say something along these lines in other interviews, and I find it funny because especially AI, I mean, it's central to everything he's doing. SpaceX, the Teslas, I mean, anything he's involved in, AI is central to it. So I do think he likes the provocative statement. I think he likes people to listen in and maybe get a little shocked by things he says. But there's probably, like the prior point, there's probably an element of truth to it as well.
Yeah, I suppose if he elected an AI for president, they would actually have the capability of ending all humanity. So
That's
there you
right.
go.
That's right. Well, our second article comes from Yahoo Finance. And it reads, global robot kitchen market to surge to $3.35 billion by 2024, driven by automation and consumer demand for convenience. Now, I'm shocked by that amount, and I'm also shocked the article says it's going to continue to grow. It'll almost double within the next few years. And it says that it's the growth in robot kitchens is driven by heightened automation, increasing labor costs, and consumer inclinations favoring convenience. So, Michael, would you ever eat at a kitchen that was 100% robotic?
Good question. I'm guessing the answer eventually would be yes, only because I've seen enough demonstrations to at least the capabilities of robots in the kitchen. When you look at what they're used for, honestly, a recipe, or if you take any kind of large scale kitchen, all these things are fairly mechanical in nature. I mean, you chop onions, you mix batter, all these things are activities that require, sort of a manufacturing kind of viewpoint to it. And I would say even in a very, very high end restaurant, they assemble the plates with very specific care and aesthetics. So having a robot take that into account to be able to follow the instructions that a master chef would create for these specific robots, it's not fun. I mean, I wouldn't think that'd be out of the realm of possibility for having a digital robot supporting your kitchen to be able to do that. Now, I'd also know, and I'm talking about like high-end kind of sit-down restaurants where you're actually being served and whatnot. But there's also, a precedent set already for a number of fast food restaurants. We've got McDonald's that's down in Fort Worth, Texas, that's doing this in a fully automated way where you pull up in a drive-through and you get your bag that gets popped out to you through a window. Yeah. And, again, these are, like you mentioned, very much tied to the economics behind it. And it's very difficult now to start, California just passed a minimum wage law that is really affecting the restaurant businesses, especially the fast food restaurant businesses, because of that. So I suspect we're going to see some more of this, if for nothing else, the economic reasons, but also for the consistency. I mean, that's what McDonald's is known for, right? Consistently outputting the same type of food so that when you have your French fries and your burgers, they taste the same no matter where you go. Right. So here's another way of getting that in place.
I mean, it's still humans or human chefs that are programming the robot kitchen to provide or to create the food, per their standards. It's not like the robots are coming up with recipes on their own yet. And so there is that human element in it. I think the thing that makes me the most open to it is having worked at a restaurant and being how sometimes things that go on in the back along the food line, just amongst the human workers that are all collaborating, and it's furious and frantic and tempers flare, and food may not always be handled in the most sanitary way. So that part of it actually appeals to me. This would be, I think, healthier for all of us.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, the final article here is this one. You got to put your thinking cap on for this one. This comes from a publication called Freethink, and it reads, Google's DeepMind AI can help engineers predict catastrophic failure. Now, this talks about a researcher from the University of Wisconsin named Jordan Ellenberg, and she's working with Google and their DeepMind large language model to basically identify scenarios that can be catastrophic. And they're the types of scenarios that humans would take years for us to come up with or to think about. And they use, as part of the article, I found really interesting, they talk about the game Set. I don't know if you've ever played that, Michael, but it's a fun card game. My family, at a recent family event, they were playing it, where they put cards down and then everybody together is looking for sets of cards. And as you see a set, the color's the same, or the shapes are the same, or the numbers are the same, you grab it. And then they put more cards down and you keep going. And this article references that game, and it says basically they're using the large language model to figure out, using a number of different variables, what's the largest number of those items that you can have without having a set. And then that allows them to back into these catastrophic scenarios. And the one they use, just to make it all come to life here, they talk about how many substations would a malicious attacker have to destroy in order to take down an electrical grid. And again, they can use various methods to try to uncover that. But in this case, they're using a large language model to look for the absence of patterns to help them uncover that. So I'm not sure my brain fully grasped all of that, but to me, it just was an interesting article. And it says that, hey, there's another good use of AI to do something that it would take us too long to do. It's too inefficient. And guess what? I really want them to know how many substations need to come down, so they can prevent it, right? And this is going to give the right people the right information to use it for good. So anyway, sorry to ramble like that. Any thoughts on this one here?
Well, I think we mentioned something similar in a previous pulse check where we talked about AI creating a toxic AI to help train the good AI. And I think that's a very similar kind of plan with this, where taking AI and having it become sort of antagonistic to understand, well, if these are the issues that it can uncover now, which of those issues can we address currently, and which ones can we plan for to ensure that, like you said, that we can avoid catastrophic failure, or at least delay it to the point where the odds of that happening may be very, very, very high. So yeah,
we all agree, no catastrophic failure is a good thing. All right. Well, that's all we've got time for today. Remember, we publish a podcast with an amazing guest every week. So be sure and subscribe to Transform Now so you can hear those. And we'll continue to check in weekly on the news that catches our attention. But thanks for being here, and bye for now.